Okay, so I watched the new show Off Campus, and here are my thoughts. So, if you've never heard about this show, this is a show that is on Prime, and it is based off of a book series, Off Campus by Elle Kennedy. So, the show follows the books, and it centers around four college hockey players, and each book has a different leading man and woman leading couple. So, we are following each player's love story. So this season focuses on Hannah and Garrett. So Garrett is the star hockey player and Hannah is our singer-songwriter. So they were in the same class together and Garrett is not doing well in this class. He's failing and he needs to do well to be able to play on the team. Hannah is ace in the class, doing so great. So Garrett goes to her and like, hey, can you help me? Like, can you be my tutor? I really need this class. And she's like, no, just find another tutor. He finds out that she has a crush on this other musician guy, so he decides that they should create a deal. He'll fake date her, help her get her crush, and she will tutor him in this class. Win-win situation. But the only thing is they can't catch feelings for each other. And that is how the deal is formed, and that is the basis for our first season of Off Campus. So now I will be getting into spoilers for the show. So if you don't want to know anything, click off now and then come back. But if you don't care, let us continue. So I personally haven't read all the off-campus book series. I haven't read any of the spin-off series from this one, but I have read everyone's book in this series. But it has been a while since I have read them. So I know like the basis of the books, but the little details, they're not super fresh in my mind. And for me personally, that's how I prefer to enjoy a book adaptation into like a series or movie. I would like to have read the book and know kind of what's going to be happening, going on. But then I like to give myself some time so I'm not comparing each work to themselves too much. And it just helps me enjoy the book and the show that much more. But when this show was announced, I was very excited, very interested to see what they were going to do. I have some other videos, kind of like my expectations about this show and kind of what people were saying about casting announcements. But now we're going to go into the show. Now that it's finally here and I have watched it, I'm going to get into my favorite things of the show. And then I will eventually get into the things I didn't love about this show. But let's start off with the good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go into my favorite parts, scenes, things from the show in no particular order. I was just writing down things as they were coming to my mind, so sorry this is not chronological, but here we go. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Garrett Graham waistband grabs. I could not get enough. I was loving every minute. I was like gasping every time he grabbed Hannah's waistband, and I was like, this is too much. I can't handle it. It was so cute. I was living for those moments. They were just very cute, very like romantic, sexy moments in the show that I loved. Okay, another favorite moment was Hannah's grand gesture to Garrett. So when he's on like the ice hockey rink, kind of hitting pucks, blowing off some steam, he believes Hannah is with Justin now because that's the guy she was crushing on this whole time. And she has the opportunity to be with Justin, but she chooses Garrett instead. She's like, Garrett's actually the one I want to be with. And to kind of like tell him her real feelings and true feelings and how he makes her feel, she does this grand gesture. So she goes to the rink and she's playing the piano. She gets on the loudspeaker so he hears her voice and he hears this song, and it's the same song that he played to kind of get her to calm down when they were first being intimate with each other, and he was helping her out. So that song means something to him, and so to kind of declare her feelings for Garrett, she uses that same song and sings to him over the loudspeaker, and he hears her and he goes rushing towards her voice, and that moment is so cute. And I even love the part after that when they are saying they like each other and then he's like, wait, are we on the same page? I love that moment because like we don't want any miscommunication. We want clear stated facts on how we feel about each other. So I love that he even asked that and that they confirmed how they feel about each other, and they were like, no more deals, no more Snapchats, this is gonna be real. I really enjoyed that moment. It was so cute, and I'm a romance girly, so I love a grand gesture. Another one of my favorite parts of this show, or favorite scenes, was when Garrett goes to Dean and kind of asks for his advice about intimacy, talking about Hannah but not really telling it's about Hannah. And I really liked that part. First of the conversation, it was there were funny parts, but it was also very serious how Dean was like, to make it best for her, like, make sure she trusts you, consent is key, and when she has trust, it's going to be really good for her, and talking about the woman. And I just love that they were just discussing that, and how just sweet, and how he was like, duh, like, make her trust you, like, it's just so obvious. But it said that it seems, sometimes those conversations aren't had, but it was really sweet to see Dean and Garrett just talking about, like, they want to make the woman comfortable, want to make sure she has a good time, and how Dean was so focused on, like, make sure she feels comfortable with you, she trusts you, so that she can have a good time. So that was just a beautiful scene. And there was like a little bit of the respect part that Dean threw in that made it a little bit lighthearted, but overall it was a good conversation that they had. Also, kind of piggybacking off of that, the part when Hannah and Garrett decide to be intimate for the first time, Hannah was like, well, you're just gonna see me anyway, like, it's fine, you don't have to turn around. And he was like, no, I won't see you until you want me to. And that line alone, I was like, Garrett Graham, the man that you are, like, who's writing the script? I love it. Yes, I couldn't hold it. I was like, I can't, this man is too much, he's just too sweet. I just love that line. I won't see you until you want me to. Anyway, so good, so sweet, and it's just like, that just said so much. And for Hannah already knowing she trusting him, that being a confirmation to her, like, yes, I chose the right guy to do this with, to help me out with this. But that was just confirmation, like, this is the right person. Okay, my next favorite moments, every Allie and Dean scene. We are introduced to them in the first book, but we don't really know about their story or their relationship until the third book in the series. So I knew there might have been little breadcrumbs just from the trailer that they showed, but I didn't realize we would be getting part of their book in this book. So yeah, I was flabbergasted, mouth dropped. I wasn't ready for all that they gave us, and I was loving every minute of it. So first, we got to talk about the iconic dance scene with On the Floor J-Lo in the background. It's like, loved it. Like, from when he was like, who is that? They're like, J-Lo, and then Tucker gives him the assist to the song, and then Deed's like, this is my moment. And he grabbed that moment, he took it, and he went over there to talk to the girl. And Allie was like, I know I look good. I know you want me, but nah, you can't have me. I was like, Allie, you go, girl, you tell him. But it was just such a good chemistry little scene, this little dance scene, like the amount of chemistry in that one moment. I was like, okay, ooh, I like that. And I gotta admit, I'm a Dean girly. Dean was my favorite book in the entire series. So just seeing him and Allie, just like the little breadcrumbs, I was eating it up. I was eating every little crumb they gave me. So the iconic dance scene, it's gonna go down in the history books. Then when they did the reveal of like Dean and Allie kind of being together, when I tell you, I was so happy. I was like, this is peak TV. This is television. Bring this back. So far we're following Hannah and Garrett, and then we get to like the Thanksgiving episode and everyone's on FaceTime and everything. Then they hang up and we see a shot of Dean, and then he sits up and he's like, they couldn't see you, or they didn't know you were there, something like that. And then the camera goes and we see Allie's face. Boom, mic drop. And y'all, I wasn't ready. Because I had read the books, so things were lining up. I was like, this kind of feels like that scene when Allie and Dean are like traveling together. But I was like, no, this can't be. This must be something else, because this isn't their book. So I was like, this can't be it. And then they showed Allie's face in Dean's room, and I was like, no, what are they doing? Like, already? Like, I wasn't ready. And honestly, in general, that was just such a good scene for television to just throw that in. I don't think any of the book lovers or the people who were fans of the book would have seen that coming. If they did, they might have been similar to me, like, this feels like something it could be, but they weren't sure because we just assumed we'd be getting Hannah and Garrett's story. And then they did that, and that's such good television where you're like, who could the girl be? And it's this girl who, like, the person you least expect if you hadn't read the books. So we get that reveal, and then in the next episode, we start back from there and then do like a flashback sequence, which is like, I love this. We're gonna see their little journey. Like the editing and directing this particular episode was just so good. Like, whoever put this together so well. So then we get the do not call scene where Dean puts his number in Allie's phone, and then she changes it to do not call. When I say I was screaming, my mouth was on the floor because I wasn't ready for that either. Because when we see her call Do Not Call, we're assuming that it's her ex who, throughout this whole couple episodes, she's saying, I don't want to fall back into that. I always call him. I don't want to call him. And she calls Do Not Call saying, I know I said it won't call. So complete misdirect for the audience. We're all thinking it's her ex, that she's getting back together with her ex. Then we officially find out that no, that was Dean she was calling because she changed his contact number to Do Not Call. When I tell you, I was loving what they were doing this show, like all these little things. Like they gave us a little crumb, the audience not knowing what it was, and then the reveal's so good. So they do that. Then we see Dean and Allie, and again, they're like, this is just going to be having fun. And their little sequence of them getting together, so much chemistry off the walls. I was loving it. Like, it's just making me even more excited for that particular book in their season. But the Allie and Dee season, it was just so much chemistry in it. They chose the right people for this because you could see it in the actor. Like, the chemistry was there, and I was living for it. I'm a big chemistry girl. Like, you can put the right people that look like the actors, but if there's no chemistry, to me, like, it's not even worth it. So I'm glad we have these people who, in my opinion, feel like the characters, and they also have insane chemistry together, and you could tell from when you're watching the show. But I also like the scene where we kind of see Allie and Dean at Dean's like apartment in New York, and you see him putting on the show, and then Allie calls him out on it, and they have more an intimate moment before, the FaceTime call. But I like that part of the show and those scenes between them because it was really cute. It was more honest, vulnerable. Like, they really seem to be friends, and they also enjoy each other's company. But I really like seeing that side of Dean because before that, it was more like just surface level, but we're seeing more and more of Dean and kind of how this girl is bringing another side out to him that a lot of people don't get to see. I also love seeing the Allie and Beau moment. I thought that was so cute. So we get to see them bond over like Broadway show tunes, being like little theater kids, because I guess he has a connection with his sister being in theater. And it really just seemed like Dean likes a girl that is basically the female version of his best friend. But it just seemed like there's a great connection and good vibes all around, and they all really mesh really well together. Okay, one of my other favorite scenes in this show was the I love you moment between Hannah and Garrett. I thought that was so sweet and cute. She's just playing around on her guitar saying, yeah, because Garrett loves me. And then he's like, well, yeah, I do love you. And it's just so sweet. They're exchanging I love you. It's just a sweet moment, intimate moment between the two of them and their confession. And I loved it. I was like, this is so sweet. I love Hannah and Garrett. Some more funny moments from the show was the Tucker and the fruit scene, and how he has to take care of this fruit to be like initiated into this fraternity. And that was just funny to see like the start and how that was throughout the show. And I like the banana scene when we get more of the hockey players, even the ones that aren't main characters. I think the casting for this show was just so well. Like, we get our main 4 guys, but we also get like the other players on the team that like making comments or like bantering with each other. And I just thought that chemistry just within the team itself was really good. And maybe it was subtle and not a lot of people are talking about it, but I just thought that was good and important. And it felt like these guys were actually a group of people who spent a lot of time together. They're on a team and they can go back and forth like that, not just the main guys. So honestly, I'd be interested to see more of the team. I hope we get to see more of them, more of that like hockey banter back and forth. I would be interested in that. I think it'd be really cool, even though they're not the main part of the cast, just seeing these side characters and just seeing them emerge. I would love that. I think that's an opportunity for the show. So another scene I really liked, it is more of a sad emotional scene, but one I really liked that they had was around the Thanksgiving dinner with Garrett and his father and his father's girlfriend. So we kind of are, at least I knew from the book, but in the show we kind of know that growing up he did not have a good relationship with his father, and his father seemed like a violent person. But Garrett has all these people around him telling him like, I know you don't get along with your father, but maybe he's changed, maybe he's different, with everyone not knowing the full backstory. So we do see in Thanksgiving Garrett is having a hard time, but he sees his dad with his girlfriend, he sees his girlfriend, he sees the girlfriend happy, and Garrett, at least for me, it seems like Garrett has a moment of like, maybe he really has changed, maybe their relationship has been different. maybe they can grow to something better than what they were. And for like a minute, split couple seconds, he seems like he's almost happy he came. Like he's happy like they're gonna get the second chance and have a different relationship with his father. But then when they're saying grace over the food, he sees the bruise on his father's girlfriend's wrist, and he knows immediately like his dad has not changed. He's still playing the part and he can't deal with it anymore. And so him and Hannah immediately leave because Garrett can't just be in the house anymore. And then when the girlfriend comes out to give them their coats, she's like, I'm so sorry, I feel like this is my fault. And Garrett like goes straight up to her and he's like, leave, get out. Like, my mom couldn't get out, but you can. Like, get out, leave this. He's not going to change all this and everything. And that scene in itself was literally heartbreaking because we see the flashback scenes of little Garrett and what he saw between his parents, and him saying, him now older, saying like, my mom couldn't get out, but you can. And he's trying to do what he couldn't do for his mom, like save this woman from his father. And she's just not listening to him. And I felt, oh my goodness, it was so sad, so emotional, so heart-wrenching, because he's literally begging her, like, please get out of this house, please save yourself, don't stay with him. And what more can he really do? He's like trying to help this woman. He's like, I've seen what he's done to my mom, and I'm telling you, he's not going to change. Please save yourself. He's like begging her because he doesn't want this woman to go through what his mom did. So that was definitely a hard scene, very emotional, but I think it was just done so well, and I loved seeing this actor and how he was doing, and that it was just really good how it all came about. Another scene that was kind of sad but also really sweet, Hannah and Allie friendship. So overall, I do love the relationships they have throughout the show, just these two girls and like the healthy relationships they have. But when Hannah tells Allie the truth about the story, and then Allie's like, I knew the girl that you told me about was actually you, but I was just waiting until you were comfortable to tell me. And that, oh goodness, that almost took me out. I was like, Allie, the friend that you are. That's so sweet. It's like, Hannah must have told Allie at some point, like, you know, why she doesn't drink at parties, why she doesn't feel safe or doesn't want to do that. And Allie knew from when she told her, but was like, okay, just kind of like, you don't drink at parties, okay, you don't drink at parties. Didn't push. Not sure how the initial conversation went when she told her the story, but it feels like Allie didn't push Hannah. She was just like, this is how you feel about it, then that's how you feel about it, and I will make sure no one else pushes you. And we kind of see that from that first like little fair that they have at the college thing, where someone like offers her a drink, and Allie's like, no, Hannah does not drink. We're not going to pressure her to drink. We're just going to pressure her to talk to a boy. And I was like, I love Allie for that. She's like, we're not pressuring my friend about drinking. She doesn't want to drink. She's not going to drink. And we see kind of that go into this scene, and Allie's like, I was waiting for you to tell me. I knew. I just waiting for you. And she's like, tell Hannah. She's like, this stuff. Just like being there for Hannah and just encourage her even more. Like, you are who you're supposed to be. And I've loved every Hannah that I've met. And I was just like, Allie, Allie. Like, everyone needs a friend like Allie. That was just so sweet, and I'm glad we got that scene in there. And speaking of the friendship, like, I love seeing the friendship between Hannah and Allie, but I also love the friendship between the guys. So I love that moment when Garrett finds out the guy that did this to Hannah is on the hockey team that they're playing, and he gets angry and goes at him and attacks him, which, valid reaction. I don't fault him for that one. But he's punching this guy on the ice, and he can't do that per the rules of the game. And so the guys are pulling him off, and then when Logan like grabs Garrett, he's like, look, I got you. I'm like, that just connection, and we see the relationship and the friendship and connection Logan and Garrett have from that scene as well. I love that, and how Logan's looking out for Garrett. He's like, dude, you know, it's like, here, just focus on me. We got it. Like, let's get through this. I even like Bo and Dean. I love their friendship. They were so good, dynamic, and I liked the part when Bo's talking to Dean about Allie and saying, like, dude, you're great person. Go after her. Go after this girl you want before she completes this assignment. So even Bo sticking up for Dean is like giving him that confidence to go and talk to Allie. There was a lot of that in this show. Like, even though it's focused on this main couple of Hannah and Garrett, we did see the friendships around them and other friendships of people. And I love seeing that. I love seeing these little foundations, and I hope these little pockets of friendship we're seeing grows even more as this series continues. Okay, another one of my favorite scenes is when Garrett's playing this game, and he's like stressed out because his dad's going to be there. This is a tough game, and he's calling Hannah and Hannah's not picking up. And finally, when he sees Hannah and they talk, I'm expecting because what I typically see in media and shows and movies is like the guy's reaching out to his girlfriend or to someone important and they're not picking up, ignoring them, and they're usually angry, saying like, hey, I really needed you and you weren't there for me. But in this situation, we see that when Garrett sees Hannah, he's like, hey, are you okay? What's wrong? He's worried about her. He's like, I tried reaching you and you weren't picking up. I was really worried. Are you okay? And that was just so like far from where I thought he would go in this particular scene that I was just like, Garrett Graham is like one of the sweetest people ever. He's calling her, she's not picking up, and he's worried that something's wrong because he knows she wouldn't just not pick up his calls. So if he's calling her and she's not picking up and he knows like he needs her and having a difficult time, something's wrong with her as well. So I like that look on this scene where it could have went a whole other direction, could have been a huge fight, or could have been like, you weren't there for me, and Hannah could have possibly been like, I'm so sorry I wasn't there, I know you needed me, where this went a different direction and he was like, hey, I'm calling, I want to make sure you're okay because you weren't picking up, are you good? And he's checking on her even when he's freaking out, and even Hannah's on her part being selfless as well, saying, oh, I'm good, I'm here to free you. So they're both being there for each other, even though when they're both kind of freaking out on the other end. But I really did appreciate where the show went for that scene, and I think it was so much better than what I could imagine them doing. I also like a particular scene that I felt was very important, and I'm glad this was in the show, was when Hannah called her mom, and she's freaking out because she lost her scholarship and she wanted to take care of it herself, and she doesn't believe she can find a way to do that. And she's calling her mom, like kind of confessing all this, saying sorry, like, I didn't want to bother you and dad, I know you guys are already struggling because of me and it's all my fault, blaming everything on her, like, you're losing your friend, you lost jobs because of me and it's all my fault, you know, putting it all on her, because that's what Hannah truly believes, that she kind of brought this on her family. But then her mom's like, what was your fault? You saying like, no, none of this was your fault, you were a teenager and you went to a party, and what happened after that was not your fault. And oh my goodness, when I was tearing up because I was like, that's exactly what she needed to hear from her mom in that moment. She's like, everything after that, that's not your fault. You were just being young. You were going to a party, you had a drink, and you were being a kid, and all you wanted to do was have a good night. And unfortunately, that did not happen, because really, it wasn't Hannah's fault. And even though she has grown so much from where she was in her situation, because of everything that's currently happening in this moment for Hannah, she truly does believe like this is happening and what happened to her family is because of me. And having her mom say like, no, we're going to figure it out. You're the kid, we're the adults. We're going to figure out your tuition. We're going to figure out how to keep you in this school another year, so you don't have to worry about that. Let us do it because we're your parents. And I was like, yes, Hannah's mom. I want to see more of them, more of Hannah's parents in the future, because I was living for that scene. I loved her mom. I'm glad they put that scene in the show. Just like, it was just so beautiful, because really when you're calling your parent, and you feel like everything is against you and you've caused everything, that's what you really want to hear. So that was beautiful, and I'm so glad we had that conversation between Hannah and her mom. And here we come towards the end of my favorite scenes. So one of my last favorite scenes was a couple scenes between Dean and Allie, when it's like that fundraiser night, and Dean's like wants Allie, and Allie's like, you can choose any girl, and he's like, well, I guess I could, but the only girl I want is you. I was like, yes, Dean, love it. And he's like, tell me what you want. Literally Dean's lines, so good. But my favorite part towards the end of the show was when Dean finally goes up to Allie. He's like, you love love. I was like, Dean, are you speaking to me? Because I love love too. But he's speaking to Allie, and he's like, I know you love love. So he's like, let's do this thing. Like, kind of like, let's try this thing. Let's not do this assignment. I like you. And Allie's like freaking out because she's like, no, I already did the assignment. And he's like, and you just see the heartbreak on Dean's face. He's like, what? And then we see Hunter Davenport come in, and that's the guy Allie has been doing her fling with. So can I just say, when I saw Hunter Davenport and Allie's chemistry, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was loving it. I was loving it. I read the books and I know Allie's with Dean. I love Allie and Dean. Like, I want them together. But when he did that chair pull in the bar, y'all, I was like, I can't handle this. This is too much. And then they had that kiss. The chemistry, like, they have chemistry. They sure do. And I was like, I can't handle this, Allie, because you're supposed to be the Dean. So why are you kind of making me like this other guy? That just when we first meet Hunter Davenport, I was like, okay, I need to see what's going on with this man. Like, what's he gonna bring? And then in the end, we kind of figure out that Dean and Hunter hate each other, and now they're gonna be playing the same team. And it kind of ends on that cliffhanger with like a fight breaking loose in the middle of Malone's, which I say again, great TV. Like, they really were like, we're gonna give you the teen TV drama that y'all have been wanting for years. Because y'all, I was eating it up. Like, they gave us a scene. They again put this guy in. We don't know who he is. Then he's brought in again later with Allie, and then the final scene he's brought in and we find out he's the enemy of Dean, and they immediately hate each other, but also they're going to be forced to have to work together. That just brings us another level, another storyline, some drama for season 2, which has already been confirmed, y'all. So I'm so excited. Just that ending scene was just done so well. I'm loving the people who are writing this show. They're bringing it all. They're giving us everything, and I'm here for it. Okay, so those are my favorite scenes. Let's go into the things I didn't love about this show. First thing, didn't love that montage working out scene, y'all. Wasn't a fan. It was giving the boys were doing this for the boys, and I was like, I think it was the song choice. And I was like, maybe if there was a different song, I would have liked it better, because it was giving everything it should have for me to like it. But it was like, why? I don't want to see you guys working out to a macho song. So I didn't love it. It was kind of a little cringe, but I was like, it is what it is, whatever. Got over it. Thank goodness it wasn't that long. Another thing I didn't love about this show was Logan. So unfortunately, Logan's story is my least favorite. So him in particularly, I don't really care that much where his story goes. I would love to love it more than the book. So I'm hoping that this show can convince me his love story and his character, I can love them more than how I did in the books, which I think they might be able to do. But some of the things Logan was doing in this show I was not loving. Like him calling Dean's dad, that got on my nerves so much. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you just call up your friend's dad after he specifically asked you not to? And you already know they don't have the greatest relationship. Like, he doesn't know specifics like what happened in his childhood, but he does know that Garrett does not get along with his dad. They have a rocky relationship. He's been ignoring his dad. So why would you, as his best friend, take it upon yourself to just call his dad up and be like, hey, could you do this? I'm sorry. As a friend, I don't think I would have done that, because I know how you feel about your parent. I don't think I would have just called your parent and be like, hey, can you do this for this? Like, I know it's for a good cause, but me personally, I don't think I would have done that. And to me, Logan doing that is like, wow, you really didn't care how your friend felt. But whatever. And let's talk about Jules. Jules was not in the books, and I wasn't really feeling her addition to the show. I don't really feel like they need it. It was giving wannabe Gossip Girl, and it wasn't really doing what maybe they thought it would do, because them knowing who's behind this account and it being someone's little sister as well is just weird to me. Like, why are you just posting everyone's gossip? I would have liked better if it was maybe they knew who it was, but this person was not related to any of them. And maybe it's just like a mean girl, mean guy, and they just post gossip about the hockey team, and it's someone they don't really have like a relationship with or control over, so they're just posting about them. So that could have been another addition to the story, which could have been kind of cool. But it being someone they know and they actively know who that person is, and it's their sister, that's just weird to me. Or it would have been better if they really actually tried to go a more Gossip Girl route and it was just like a secret account posting about them. So like Garrett's like, oh, we have to be real, because if it's fake, this gossip that posts about us won't believe it. So I would have liked that better than just Jules posting all about their relationship. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully it gets better, but again, it's not my favorite part. And I do believe, again, I haven't read these books in a long time, but I do believe Logan didn't have a sister. I thought he had a brother, and I thought we focused on his relationship with his dad, not his mom. So I need to reread his book because I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like they're changing a lot of his character and I don't know why. And I have seen mixed reviews about this, but I personally wouldn't have mind the off-campus, like, no hands rule or hands-off rule, whatever. I would have liked that, and I think the way they did it was fine, but I wish it would have been drawn out a little bit more. Like, maybe Garrett personally didn't have to do it, but, like, there's a rumor or, like, a little gossip going around the college, like, hey, this is his ex, no one messed with her. Like, he wouldn't be happy. Like, even if it was like an unspoken rule, even if Garrett himself did not say it, I think they just rushed into that ending very quickly. I think they could have drawn that out a little bit more, or like her making him jealous a little bit. She's like, oh, I heard about your rule, blah, blah. He's like, I didn't do that. That wasn't me. I wouldn't have done that to you or whatever. And he just didn't really know it was happening. And then her trying to make him, I don't know. I think they could have elongated that particular scene a little more. And that was a missed opportunity, in my opinion, but it is what it is. And speaking of that scene, can we talk about the jump scare scene in episode 8? Like, what was that? First of all, don't think that was needed at all. I was like, please no, get this off my screen immediately. Like, I understand she went in the locker room. I just think we didn't need to get multiple shots of the male form. Like, multiple. We could have got a single one. We didn't even have to have that. But it was just a lot of full frontal, and I was not here for it. I was like, please take this off my screen immediately. I don't want to see this. But yeah, other than that, the show was great. I had a great time. So if you didn't already know, if you couldn't tell, I gave this show 5 stars. I loved every second of it. You know, of course, there were things I didn't love, but compared to everything I did love, it was very, very minor. But one thing I really liked about this show, and how this is more of an ensemble instead of just one season of being about a particular character, which I was not expecting. This is definitely what I wanted. I thought there was an opening in television, in series, where there weren't a lot of shows that were like young adult dramas with an ensemble cast where we got a little bit of each character throughout the seasons. So I thought Off Campus had a huge opportunity to capitalize on that. Did I think they were going to do that? Not really. I thought they were going to do more of a Bridgerton route, but I'm happy they didn't. So in this first season, we get Hannah and Garrett's story. We get a little bit of Allie and Dean's story. So we have like 2 love stories going on. We see a little bit of Logan and his sister and that family relationship. We get a tiny bit of Tucker, not a whole lot of Tucker, like a deep dive, but maybe we'll get more of that in future seasons. We also get a foundation of Bo and Dean's relationship. We see Allie and Hannah's relationship. So we're seeing different points of view throughout the show. Even though the main focus is Hannah and Garrett, there is still, at least in my opinion, a decent amount of all the characters and their intro into the series, which I absolutely loved, and I am begging for it because I'm someone who grew up with the teen dramas. Like, I grew up with a One Tree Hill, Pretty Little Liars, The Gossip Girl, those ensemble casts, and we're getting their stories throughout all the seasons. So I was wanting something like this, and I think they did really well, and I'm hoping that they continue this throughout the series. So again, we did get Hannah and Garrett series, but it doesn't look like we're just gonna not see them for the rest of the show. I'm not sure how much of their relationship we will see in future seasons. It may be minuscule, but I did see interviews where it's like, you know, we stopped at Hannah and Garrett's. We didn't see more after that, but we know that Hannah didn't win the showcase, so she got this internship, so we might see that journey. We know Garrett I believe he's suspended for the team for a bit, so we'll see what kind of that looks like for him. And again, we might see more of his relationship with his father in the future, and maybe how that goes, because currently only Hannah and Logan know about that particular relationship. So again, we'll see what happens, but I have fully immersed myself in this show, and I've made it my entire personality. I loved, am obsessed. I've already watched this show twice, thinking of watching it a 3rd time. Just having such a great time. I am also listening to it on Spotify, the playlist, listening to all those songs on a repeat because I'm just having a good time. Thought the music was good too. But yeah, guys, I love this show. It's so good. I think if you like the books, I think you'll like the show. Definitely there are parts that have changed. And again, I haven't read the books so recently where I'm comparing them so much. I definitely want to do a reread. And I'm going to be reading the spinoff series because apparently Hunter Davenport is in the spin-off series for the Briar U series, and I had no idea because I haven't read that series yet. So did I go buy the first book in that series immediately after watching Off Campus? Yes, I did. And I'll be reading that entire series so that I know everything that's going on. So yeah, I'm interested to see where the show goes. I know at least with our four main guys and their female leads, it's at least 4 or 5 books, depending if they do the legacy. So that's 4 or 5 seasons. But since we have a Hunter Davenport already entered into the show, will they be continuing on Off Campus with the Briar U series and slowly making those people into the show and it just be Off Campus? Or will they do the 5 seasons and then do a spin-off series called Briar U and just have those people be the lead, but we kind of have some foundation and basis about these characters? I don't know. I think it could work either way. Like, it'll probably be like an 8-9 season if they do mix in the Briar U, but we could have the original cast graduate and probably have them dip in and out with their lives in the future while this new cast takes over for Briar U. Not sure. Very interested. Again, I don't do book to film adaptations, so I don't know how they're going to work that, but I don't know. I feel really good about this show. It was just so good, and I'm hoping this will continue into the future. So if you did like this show, some other shows I would recommend to you are literally some of the best teen dramas of my time. But I would recommend One Tree Hill. Again, this is like a sports show. It's a basketball. If you haven't heard of it, it has 9 seasons, I believe, like 20 episodes each season. So feel free to go binge that. It's such a great watch. But it also does have like a brotherhood in these basketball players. They're definitely some drama, and we also have like our main girls as well, but a great ensemble cast show. Also, I would recommend Friday Night Lights if you're looking for like a football show with like a drama. There is also All American as well. That one's not my favorite, but if you're looking for a football show with like an ensemble cast, you could definitely go watch that one. And I think that one's on its last season. If you just want a show like set in college, I could recommend Grownish. That is a good one. Just basically college life, not really a sports show, but a college show. So if you like the college feel of Off Campus, you might like that one. And another show I would recommend is Teen Wolf. Even though it does have a supernatural aspect to it, it is in my opinion, really great sports show with lacrosse at the center of this, and also Teen Wolf being werewolves. But this is also kind of a sports show, and we also have like a good brotherhood, a good relationship between our main guys that I think if you liked Off Campus, you could like Teen Wolf. So that is all I have for y'all today. Let me know what were your favorite parts in this show. You can also let me know your least favorite parts. What did you like? What you didn't like? If you had read the books, what are you thinking? Or if you haven't read the books, what are you thinking? Will you read them? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I'm currently completely obsessed with this show. I'm probably going to be obsessed for the next maybe couple weeks. I need season 2 immediately. I think Prime doing books to shows and movies, that's their thing right now. And so far, they've been doing really well with it. So can't wait to see what else they have in store. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your year. And until next time, bye.